Yeah.
We can go ahead and answer those questions if you want, because those people actually, we notify them and let them know that we've answered their questions live. So
Okay, so
go for it.
this guy says it's his first time using RevSlider today. Oh, well, I mean, that may be a good thing. So he's not like spoiled by the way things were before.
If he's on
getting
the
like the whole new experience.
if he's on a
from
newer
scratch.
version, yes, yeah.
Okay, and the videos have helped a lot, but he's still struggling to create his animation. He's creating a vectored cartoon banner for a website, but his problems come when he has a rising sun and he'd like it to rise and then stay on the page and not fade out. And I'd like to slow the time the sun rises for a long period. Can anyone help? Whoa, that's pretty detailed.
It is pretty detailed, but you can actually do things like that with the RevSlider. So this is a question coming off of our YouTube channel. If you're familiar at all with our YouTube channel, we have videos that we do every single WordPress Wednesday. And a couple of months back, I did an entire series on the RevSlider, the Revolution slider. So this guy, Josh, chimed in and said that he's a first-time user of the RevSlider and is trying to do some really cool animation. So the RevSlider can do a bunch of things, from a simple slideshow of transitioning images in and out to running full video in place on your website with some text laid over it that looks really cool. Or you can even do animations where things are sliding in, fading in, and doing all sorts of different transitions. And it's all done pretty lightweight. It's not too heavy on your website, and of course it's not using Flash, so it's all mobile friendly. So a lot of really good points to this. However, Josh, what you're gonna want to do is play around with the different animation settings. Plus there's also a timer for every single layer. You can go in and adjust the time on when it starts, how long it stays on the screen, and then by adjusting the actual path of the image, you can adjust how long it transitions, where it stays while everything else is moving around. So I know that's a little difficult to pick up right now with me just verbally explaining it to you, but backtrack on some of our videos. I'm pretty sure I covered how to change the time of each layer. So you're not wanting to affect each slide necessarily, which you can affect also. You're wanting to affect each layer individually.
Yeah, and a lot of people use RevSlider as kind of a hack, right? They don't actually use it as a slider. They use it because it has all this cool functionality to it, like you can put a video in the background. We're guilty of that. We want to do that with one of our clients right now. That way you don't have to do all that custom code in the background to make sure you have a video background.
Yeah.
You can do it with the RevSlider, and you can do those cool animations, but then you need to realize I'm not actually using it as a slider at this point. I'm using it for its advanced functionality. So you need to disable all those settings that come with being a slider, like moving and transitioning from slide to slide. You need to disable all that and let it know I'm just using you for one slide.
Absolutely. So we'll put a link underneath your comment on our YouTube channel to give you some ideas of some other videos that we have, as well as Theme Punch, the guys that actually created the RevSlider. They've got some other videos too that might be able to help you a little bit more clearly on getting some ideas on how to do your animation. So thanks so much for the question though, and that's one way that you guys can get your questions answered, is jump on our YouTube channel, find a video, search through our library. We have almost 150 videos sitting there to date.
Wow.
I know, most of it is all about WordPress. So jump on our YouTube channel, do a search. If you can't find a video that covers it, please send us a tweet or leave a comment on one of the videos, because we look at those comments daily and we'll try to answer you or even do a video tutorial for you.
Here's another good one. How to do the anchor drops down so that they're smoother.
Okay, so how to do the anchor drop down so they're smoother. So this guy, Jacob, did a comment on a video that we actually have already created to teach you how to zip down a page. So let's say that you've got a bunch of content on a page and you want to get somebody to a certain point on the page much more quickly. There's a way to do that by just creating an anchor tag, and I'll put the link to that video in the description box below. But he's asking about a smooth scroll down the page. So Jason, being our lead developer, let's talk to him and see what his suggestions are for that.
Well, it does take a little bit of extra code for you to do that smooth transition. There's a plugin for that. Would probably be the simplest, because depending on your experience, I'm hesitant to say, yeah, go ahead and open up your editor and throw this script in there and it'll smooth everything else out. I'd go ahead, in this case, I'm usually against using plugins for things that you don't need, but in this case, my overall recommendation, without knowing his experience level, is go ahead and use this. There are tons of plugins out there to help your anchor tag scroll a little smoother. If you don't, they just jump down. And understand the user experience behind it. So There are plugins for that. And in this case, I'd use it.
And you might also be looking at just getting a theme that by default has that capability. So you might be wanting to do what's called like an endless scroll, where all of your content is sitting on one home page, where let's say at the top, if you have a menu bar that they click on about, it just kind of scrolls down the page nice and smoothly. If that's kind of the interaction that you're looking for, more than likely your best option would be to go grab a theme that already has that capability inside of it. So again, as we're going here, I just want to welcome the visitors, the viewers that are already tuning in with us on our YouTube channel. Thanks so much for being here. We also have Periscope running. So if you guys are familiar with Periscope, go check us out over there. You can find it. It's actually on my personal Periscope at Corey Ashton. You can find us on Periscope, and you're going to see a behind-the-scenes shot of what our entire set looks like and kind of get a really cool angle of what we're doing.
We actually have the developers of the Rev Slider watching the stream right now.
What? Hey guys, welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in. This is only our second episode ever to do the live screening of asking questions and answering questions, so we're really excited to do it. And it kind of puts us both on the spot because we don't know who's going to chime in and ask questions. But you guys with Theme Punch, a lot of the questions are about the Rev Slider, so stick around. We're hoping to do a series, an updated series on 5.0 and above, now that you guys have come out with that, and talk more to all of our listeners and all of our viewers about your incredible products, not only the Rev Slider, but also Central Grid. So we're going to go ahead and take a couple more questions. If you guys want to, you're more than welcome to live chat with us on the YouTube channel. Ask us anything that you want regarding WordPress, search engine optimization, or social media marketing. He's also phenomenal at conversion strategy, so you can talk to him about that. And if you're tuning in over on Periscope, be sure to send us a tweet, and we will answer your questions as best as possible as well. We do the show for 30 minutes, so get those questions rolling in, and we'll start answering.
All right, we have Jason. Great name.
Great name, Jason. Hello, welcome to the show.
That wants to know about Page Builder by Site Origin.
Yeah, absolutely. On the Sydney theme. So I would like to know if it's possible to make my rows and content with some animation. Let's say bounce or fade in. How can I make that happen? So sometimes when we're dealing with page builders, are you familiar with that particular plugin, Page Builder?
I'm not familiar with that Page Builder, no.
I'm not overly familiar with Page Builder by Site Origin. I have used it a couple of times. I'm more familiar with like Visual Composer
or Fusion Builder.
Fusion Builder. That's typically inside of Avada theme. But if animation is accessible, let's just say that, if it's accessible, it's going to be inside the individual page builder, or like Jason was mentioning earlier, you might be able to find an additional plugin that does not conflict, that would allow you to do some sort of really cool fade in, maybe the lazy load where you scroll down the page has a really nice lazy load effect. Other than that, you might be looking to use a different page builder or a completely different theme.
Well, I've noticed a little bit of a problem with lazy load. Some of the sites that we've done is it doesn't always load correctly for all mobile devices. So sometimes it takes a while as they're scrolling down with their phone for the lazy load to actually, it's too lazy, like it takes too long to load up. And it actually, so you need to ask yourself, what's the user experience you're going for? What's your target market? Are they all on are most of them on the phone? And if so, is this going to give them the best experience on the phone?
That's a really great point. I've actually had clients complain saying, why doesn't the content load? I'm sitting here waiting for it to load. And unfortunately, that CSS or that lazy load has caused an issue. To that point as well, you'll want to cross-browser check, right? And be sure that all browsers are loading that type of really cool animation effect correctly. All right, what else do we have? Thanks for the question, though, Jason. We appreciate it.
Oh, they're watching on Periscope.
I know, we've got some love right now happening over on Scope. Way to go. That's Theme Punch?
Yeah.
Tuning in on, way to go, you guys. There's the hearts. Thanks so much.
Don't wave here. Don't wave here. Wave over there.
Wave over there. Awesome. So we've got some other questions that are on our YouTube channel as well, some comments that others have asked that we're going to refer to. However, if you're just tuning in right now, please be sure to live tweet us your questions. We also have a topic that Jason and I wanted to talk about, so we might cover that for a second while we let some of you chime in with your questions. Hold on, Jason, you're following up with a question. What is he saying there? My page builder Site Origin does not include any option for animation. What's the best plugin that I could add to it? You're welcome, Jason.
A plugin for animation. I haven't dug into that.
My only concern would be conflicts.
Yeah.
And time loading. So when you're talking about adding additional plugins, of course you're talking about adding more weight to your website and load time. So I would be highly concerned about, first of all, how many plugins are you already running? We try to keep our students and our clients running right around a dozen, 12, no more.
Right.
So if you've already kind of reached that peak, I would again kind of reconsider Jason's point to how much wow factor do you really need for your visitors. If you're below that and you say, yeah, I still want to go for it, I think it'd be a cool wow factor, then absolutely look for a plugin. And I'll do some research too, see what I can find out, and I'll post a comment on this video. See what we can find for you, hopefully help you out.
Got another, did you want to talk about?
I think we should.
Talk about the incident.
The incident. This is painful, you guys. We're going to reveal a little bit more of behind the scenes of what happens here at WebTegrity.
So I would say, and we tell this to clients all the time, that if if WordPress has a weakness, it's that you need to keep it updated. And
Absolutely.
it's like if you're going to create a virus, right? Are you going to create it for the Mac or the PC? Typically, you're going to do it for the PC because there's more open source software on it, and more people still use the PC. So you're going to build a virus for the PC. Same problem with WordPress. Most websites are being built on WordPress now. So if you're going to create or search for vulnerabilities,
one out of four WordPress sites out there online are WordPress sites. So
if there's a weakness to WordPress, you got to keep it updated, because that's what those developers are most of the time updating it for, is to kind of protect those vulnerabilities that get found.
Absolutely.
And we had a client with multiple subdomains that they were using for various reasons, and each of them had their own version of WordPress sitting on them that they never updated.
They forgot about them and didn't let us know. So we're sitting here looking at their current website thinking all is well with the world. And then the forgotten subdomains that sat there, like Jason said, were running ridiculously old versions of WordPress with all their own individual installs that were basically sitting ducks for viruses.
Yeah, but it wasn't a virus that actually attacked them. It was in what we believe to be an SEO company that was enlisted by this construction company out of Maine or something like that.
Yeah.
And they went into these old subdomains that had WordPress installed on them, hacked into them, and had them point back to their clients' websites for easy backlinks.
Easy backlinks, easy SEO ranking, and just all around a traffic boost. And thankfully we found it. But talk about horrible. Our client's website, the root domain, went from around 10,000 visitors a month, drastically dropping to what we consider a flat line. They're having maybe around 2,000 visitors a month. Chopped off 8,000 visitors a month, because Google actually saw the website as hacked.
As it saw as it being an attack. And Google's not going to present a website that it think is a risk toward its users. So this is a big lesson to be learned. It could have been a lot worse.
It could have been.
Right.
Had we caught it later on down the road. Thankfully, we caught it about 3 weeks into it.
So the lesson to be learned here is always keep your install of WordPress up to date, all the plugins up to date, and just because you have some subdomains that you're not using anymore, don't think that those can't be targeted as well.
Absolutely. And be sure also that if you're running, or rather if you have installed plugins or installed themes sitting on your domain name, if you have them sitting there but they're not active, they still could be potential wormholes for your entire system, because they're sitting on your server space. So be sure, even if you're not using themes or plugins and they're sitting in your dashboard, be sure that they're up to date, or just go ahead and get rid of them if you're not going to be using them.
Got another question from Jason that I think we can easily answer here.
Okay.
What theme is used, and he thinks it's an entire theme that you have to use, for having a video on the main page background instead of a slider? Well, you don't need to use a specific theme for that. Theme Punch is going to love the answer to this. You can use the Revolution slider for that. Again,
Absolutely.
Make it a one slide slider, so it's not actually a slider. You're just hacking Revolution slider for some of its functionality that makes things really easy. And a video on the background is certainly one of those things it can do. So
and we're
my
also
answer would
seeing
be
it.
Rev slider.
Absolutely. We're also seeing it being very trendy right now to have great video. Of course, again, you want to watch your page load time and be sure that your speed is still loading quickly. So you're probably looking at a video clip that might be like a 5 to 8 second loop that loops inside of the Rev slider there. that runs beautifully. The other cool thing with the Rev Slider and using it to display your video is you can add text on top of it. So you can have a call to action button sitting there so that it's not just video taking up real estate, but it's actually an area that can be attractive, a wow factor, as well as some sort of a CTA or a call to action area for you. So check out the Rev Slider, and we'll put that link in the description box below as well. All right.
Avada also easily offers that functionality. Well,
the Rev Slider is inside of Avada as well.
Yeah.
So either way there, Avada is the best-selling theme as of today on themeforest.net, so you can check out that. It's spelled Avada. And I'll put that link in the description box below as well.
So we still got 15 minutes, guys. You got a lot of different ways you can ask us questions. You can ask us a question on Twitter at WebTegrity. You can ask us a question here on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can try and ask a question over there, but I would probably go with tweeting.
Tweet to us if you're watching us on Periscope. Hey, you guys. And if you aren't familiar with Periscope, be sure to check that out. You can find us at Corey Ashton on Periscope, and you can give us some hearts, give us some love there, and you can get a really cool behind-the-scenes shot of what our set looks like.
Yeah, and you can also ask questions on the videos themselves. We have how many videos? You said over 100
almost 150.
Good Lord. So you can go to every video that you find interesting and just ask the question right there, and we might just address it next time we have a Q&A session. So a lot of different ways to interact with us. Let's see if we can't find another question from one of the videos.
You can also send anything out right now on our YouTube channel and do a live chat. So if you're watching right now, we've got several people tuned in. You're more than welcome to just send us a quick question. It can be about anything, about WordPress, a theme that you're using. It can be about SEO, which is search engine optimization. It can be about social media marketing, anything to do with your online presence, conversion strategy, or anything that you're struggling with your WordPress website. Let us know. We'd love to answer your questions because basically we're here online for at least another 12 minutes, people. Let's bring it in.
This was an interesting question by Crusader 9. He asked, how can visitors choose between a light theme and a dark theme version of the site? That's kind of an interesting question because he wants to give the user the ability to choose their own experience.
Sure.
It's interesting, but that's a lot of work. You're looking at rebuilding the entire site. I'm thinking from scratch. But you'd have basically two versions of the sites where you present the option as links and they choose between one or the other. It'd be a little bit of a hassle, and I don't know if that'd be necessary.
Well, you'd have two different versions of your style sheet, right?
Yeah.
So it'd be a conditional statement depending upon what their choice was. If they wanted light, then a different style sheet would then go into effect. But in a sense, you would look like you have two totally different websites.
You're doing double the
content
work.
Would be the same. But I think it depends on, who your audience is, or if you're trying to do A/B testing, right, and see which one's more popular.
I would do an A/B testing, make the decision which one is more popular, go with that, and save yourself the double the work.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else do we have here? Okay.
We've got all sorts of questions that he's digging through on our YouTube channel right now.
I'm trying to pick the ones that maybe we haven't quite answered yet.
It's so nice, though, as you're scrolling through here, because we're seeing that just so much love. You guys are so kind to just give us so many encouraging comments and feedback on our YouTube videos, and we appreciate it. I mean, we just nerd out on this stuff as much as you guys do, and we enjoy helping the WordPress community. So anytime that you have a question, though, be sure to tweet us. I haven't checked our Twitter feed. What are we looking at on our Twitter feed? Anything going on there?
Not just yet. Just some retweets and some favorites.
Giving us some love. Way to go, you guys.
Yeah, we answered that one last time. If we use a page builder for the WebTegrity website.
Site, yeah.
Which we don't. We do use essential grids.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and mention another issue when we were talking about security earlier. I had another client who had his website. He basically didn't have the funds to have anybody support it or take care of it. So once we built it for him, he was kind of off and running on his own. And unfortunately, he did not keep his website up to date either. And it got hit with a lot of malware, to the point even so that Google basically Google blacklisted him. So when that happens, it means that Google will possibly still present your name in the search engine results. However, it'll give some sort of a warning that will warn people saying this site may have been compromised or may have been hacked, and you might not want to visit it. So with that warning, it pretty much means that you're done for, that your analytics are going to go down. People aren't going to be viewing your site.
Especially if it's a competitive industry, it's a death sentence.
Absolutely, it's a death sentence, sure. So our fix for him was to connect with Sakuri. So I'll put a link in the description box below after this video. It's spelled S-U-C-U-R-I, Sucuri. There's a free version that you can use to test your website and be sure that everything's okay. But when you do get back an unfortunate result of it not being okay, Sucuri then has a paid option for you to go in and request their services, pay for their services, so that they can not only clean up your website, but also then actually work with Google back and forth to quickly get you back on the good graces of Google and get you unblacklisted. And typically it's taken them anywhere, for us, we've had a couple of clients use their service, it's taken them anywhere between 24 hours to 72 hours, and it's done. Any other time that I've ever tried to get a client unblacklisted, it's taken me weeks. So these guys know what it takes to get access quickly. They know the process that it takes to move things along quickly and get your website back in the good graces of Google.
Another good question is how would you know, or what would be the best practice to know when your site has been hacked?
Well, absolutely. If you're seeing a lot of spam on your site, if you guys have a lot of comments coming in and it's a ton of spam, of course that's going to be an opportunity for your site to have more hack attacks. But I think running Sucuri anyway, the free version, just plugging it in and doing a quick scan of your site, it'll give you a full report if things have been compromised and if the website is clean.
Also, pay attention to your analytics. If something goes wrong, probably one of the first things to be hit is how Google interprets your site and presents it to people doing searches. So if you see a hit on your analytics, a hack could be part of it. Because some hacks are really subtle. Sometimes it's just a Viagra ad on one of your pages.
That's true.
I mean, you never know. And you might not normally notice until you start realizing all of a sudden one day your phone's ringing a lot less than it used to. So just pay attention to your analytics, and that'll be the first indication if you've been compromised.
Google Webmaster Tools will even send you an alert. So if you've created your account with Google Webmaster Tools and you are monitoring your analytics, Google should give you an alert as well. They'll send you a quick email that says, hey, we think something's going on with your website. You need to take a look at it.
Got a good question here.
Okay.
We get this one all the time.
What's that?
Is it safe to change themes in website development? Will the content be affected negatively? So some people don't realize what all a theme is doing in terms of its content.
Sure.
So
go for it.
Most of your content on a website or with WordPress is within a database that the theme really has little to do with storing. The theme is just how it presents the content. So if you change a theme, you're using all new style sheets, using all new templates in how that content is presented, but it doesn't actually change the database information itself. So you can change themes, but yes, it's going to look radically different.
Sure.
Based off of what style sheet is being used, what styles they chose, what formats they chose for the different templates. So it is safe. You don't need to worry that you're going to lose your posts or your users.
Right. Your pages, your posts, your comments, all of those should stay the same. What you might lose in a sense though is any sort of content sitting in your widget boxes, so your sidebar or your footer, that's going to go away and basically need to be reassigned, or potentially even recreated depending upon how your theme transitions there. And of course your main navigation will have to be reset. You shouldn't lose your menus. Anything that you've created in your menus area should stay there, but you probably would have to go back in and reassign them. So what I will say is this though, if you're changing between themes and you're getting some different options, do not completely delete the theme that you were thinking about using. Keep those kind of in your dashboard. You can activate and deactivate themes easily and quickly back and forth, but until you're fully in love with a theme, don't delete anything else. And I would suggest once you have decided on a theme to go ahead and get rid of all those other themes sitting there kind of weighing down your website, with the exception maybe one or two extras that you can leave there for easy access.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thanks for the question coming in, you guys. We've got quite a few other questions piling in here. Go ahead.
Well, let me see some of these other ones. I don't want to skip ahead. I just was interested by this guy's question.
Yeah.
Do you know any free plugin slider for using videos and video fit the slider size?
All right, you got to say the question.
A free one. So Juan Jose is asking, do you know of any free plugin slider that you can use that offers a video background? And as far as free sliders, I don't know. And I'm hesitant with free plugins because I have to ask the question.
Great question.
How long is the developer going to be supporting it if it's not making any kind of money off of it? I mean, he's got to have one huge heart to be continuously supporting something, hopefully for years to come, because you want your website to be functioning for years to come, and not make any kind of profit on it. So that's why with usually like these big solutions with plugins, you want to go with a premium one where the developer is continuously making some sort of profit so that they're incentivized to continuously support it.
It's just kind of insurance for your website too. I mean, if these guys are making $5, $6, $15, $20 off of each time they're selling their plugin, then they're easily going to have some interest in maintaining it for you. And security, right?
I'm not going to say that there's not a free solution out there for video background. There probably is one. If you do some searching, I would recommend that you pay very much close attention to the reviews for that plugin, when it was last updated, who the developer is. Do some research on the developer.
Absolutely.
Maybe he's like a millionaire developer with a huge heart and is developing this plugin for free. But in the long run, I worry about how long that plugin is going to last.
Sure. And you also, of course, want to be cautious and aware of load time. So anytime we're talking about displaying video on your website, you want to be sure that load time is not affected too drastically. Thank you so much for the question, though. We've got a few more here while we have just about 3 more minutes left in the show.
3 more minutes, okay. Mike C. I was interested in this. We talked about this last time. Mike C. asked if there's a particular plugin you like for showing YouTube videos with YouTube comments on your page.
Okay.
Like a portfolio view of a playlist, but with comments shown from YouTube. So what he's basically looking for is like the YouTube interface, yeah, on his website.
Yeah.
And that's a monster task. I've seen a lot of developers who have not been happy with the YouTube plugins that are out there.
Yeah.
They bust their butts and they create a plugin or some type of solution to present a better experience on their website with their YouTube content, and then YouTube changes everything and it doesn't work anymore.
Darn.
And that's been my concern with YouTube plugins. It's really difficult to tap into the YouTube API in a way that they don't want you to.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they want comments to go with their videos. They would very much rather have people come over to the YouTube website for their comments. I'm not saying there's not a way. I've seen it done before. It's not working anymore because they're constantly changing the way that the API works. I don't know if I would recommend trying to recreate the experience on your website. I don't think it would last for particularly long unless you're a very talented and dedicated developer.
All right, we've got 2 minutes left. What else do we have here? Thanks so much for the questions, by the way, you guys. We really appreciate it, and it gives us ideas. And those of you tuning in over on Periscope, thanks again for being here. We appreciate it. We've got just a few minutes left and a couple more questions. Mike, thanks for the questions, by the way. Good to see you on the show.
Here's another good one from Mike. This is a database question.
All right, let's do it.
Get really nerdy.
Let's go nerdy. Here we go.
Okay. So, do you know of a tool for importing data? For example, suppose I have a bunch of testimonials in a CSV file and I want to import them into a WordPress plugin. Is there a tool for that?
Sure.
So, a plugin has the ability to create its own database. And if you are so inclined, you can tap into that and see what the schema for that database is and try and recreate it and import things. I would be careful.
So you're talking about MySQL database at this point. So if you're lost already on what he's explaining, I would be very cautious.
I've seen it before. A lot of times, especially if you're using a popular plugin, there's probably already some resources out there on Google where people needed to do the same thing you are, and there's like a detailed instructional post on how to do it. I've seen it with testimonial.
Or you can always contact the author of the particular plugin you're interested in using and ask them, hey, do you guys have a means of my doing this? If so, can you send me what that CSV file looks like and I'll do the work? So connect, especially if it's a premium plugin, because they want to help you and they're offering support for you as you've purchased their plugin. So thanks so much for the question. We have just a couple more here as we've got, we're out of time.
We're out of time. It's 11:30.
That's it. It's 11:30, you guys. Thanks so much for the questions. We'll try to get to these on the next show. We appreciate, way to go. Thanks, Juan. We appreciate it so much. We love nerding out with you. Tune in next week as we're here again, 11 a.m. Central Time.
Yep.
See ya.
Guys.
Bye. Thanks, you guys.